Okay, the Nash Titan Camo Pro XL. It arrived yesterday, and I did chuck it up yesterday just to have a quick look at it. I've got the Mozzie infill panel and also the kind of waterproof panel at the front as well, and I also got the heavy duty ground sheet, which is extremely heavy. I think that's a nice looking bivvy. I'm mainly a brolly user. I do short overnighters, so really this I really wanted this for France a few weeks ago, but it wasn't available, so I ended up going in my Fox brolly, and that did me all right. A little bit of condensation at times, but yeah, I like the Titan because of these windows. Really, I mean the camo pattern's nice. Don't get me wrong. I got to stick out like a sore thumb on the bank in that, but anyway, I'm not ready to get the snapback hat and the Nikes yet. But yeah, I like the windows that go around there. It's a nice size. It's a good height. It's relatively flat at the back. I'm not quite sure about this pole, if I'm honest. I know it's meant to be shorter, and that's to give you a flatter back, but yeah, we'll have to see. I think that one's going to have to grow on me. So I've opened all the windows up at the moment. They're all zipped at the side, velcroed up, and they're quite easy to roll up. You can roll up a side at a time, and then just toggle it in with these toggles. There's 3 along the side, 1, 2, 3 on the side panels, and then there's 2 on the back. I think what would have been nice for me is if they'd have done what they did on what Tracker did on the Armos, where you had a little bit here that you tucked this up out of the way. I mean, you know, it would have made it look a bit better. You know, it's only aesthetics, but you know, I think that would have been a nice touch. Or have done something on this to kind of allowed you to have the Mozzie windows open, and so there was a bit down the bottom here somewhere that you could just leave the vent open, because I've been in France before, and yeah, okay, it's hot during the night, you think it's going to rain, and it hosses it down, so you know, you've got to go and then zip it down, and yet it's still warm outside. So something like that, especially for these guys who do the Euro banks and what have you, you know, it does get hot over there, but yeah, I think that's really nice. I'd say it's relatively simple to get the XL up. Not as easy as the standard one, the shorter one, but because the poles are a lot taller. So for any guys quite short, I'm 6'1", and you do need a little bit of force just to separate the poles at the edges as well. So it isn't as easy to do as a standard hide, but then you wouldn't expect it to be, because it is the XL, but it still goes up well. I'm not so keen on the way it goes down at the moment. I think that's going to have to be a grower, and I'll kind of probably review that. And the reason I don't like the way it goes down is because of these front bits on the Titan, and these curved bits here, and the way that they sit in the bag, and the bag has to be a lot bigger, because everything bends on the curve like here, you know, and they all fold in and go nice and curved and what have you. These don't. These stick out. There's also a little label on the top of this, which basically says that the cover has to be underneath the block. It's very small writing, which does make me wonder, is that going to scuff the material in time and create a problem? Hopefully not. I've got to say, like everyone else probably, these things are lovely, aren't they, you know? If you're sort of being quiet when you're down the lake and you hear the as you open the velcro, do you know, especially if you're sitting on the edge, you know, it's bad enough for people with tent pegs and whacking those in, but then you hear all the as people put the rods in at night. So that is good. Nashy, that is really good. Pegs are nice. Peg bag is shockingly shit, if I'm honest. It is really pants. Where is it? Oh, here it is. Look, I mean, to me, what is that? You could have done a nice little bag with a reinforced end on it. You know, you paid a lot of money for these for this XL, to have a bag like that, where you got to be messing around trying to get your pegs in. Really, you just want to chuck them in. I mean, the beauty of these Titans is that they go up quick, not so quick coming down, not in my opinion, but again, I'll review it in a few weeks time once I've had a better go on it. Nice pegs, you know, no different to anyone else's really. You know, Fox pegs very similar to this. It's just got a nice little Nashy logo on, if you like that type of thing. They haven't got the metal bit on the top. Look, you're not going to be able to get your mallets on there, or if you do, you're going to probably damage the plastic. I definitely, if any of the boys who use the mallets are watching this, you definitely want to complain about that, because you need something to be whacking those in nice and hard, frightening all the fish away. Yeah, so the bag, yeah, like the bag that it actually comes in, which is oversized, but then, to be honest, once you've got everything, if you're going to take everything, which I don't think you need to, yeah, you would need the bigger bag. I do find that once you've packed it down, it does bulge here in the middle, and then there's sod all at the ends, and yet the ends is where you've got the compression straps. You know, is that logical? I suppose if you've got all the other accessories in, maybe you've got the mozzie mesh infill at the end, maybe that makes sense on. Yeah, I also don't yet get what, I'll just open this up one second. Now this is probably a very clever design, but I just don't understand why. And that is, bottom of the door, it's got a metal bar under. But surely that is going to sit under the doorway. So you're going to tread on it. What? What's that all about? Or does that go outside? Maybe that sits on the outside, but even so, you're going to tread on it. Now I don't know what is in there, but there's not one on the mozzie mesh, so why have you got one on there? And I haven't read the manual yet. I'm a guy, I haven't read the manual, but maybe there's a reason for that. I thought it might be just to weight it down, but again, couldn't really understand why you needed that. What would have been nice is to have had the door here, so that you could basically unzip it and you had a mozzie section in this door behind the waterproof section. Because again, going back to like being, well, even in the UK, you know, especially September, August, end of August, September time, once we get into autumn, you know, the weather can be very variable. You can have it hot one minute and then peeing it down the next, and just to have unzipped that and then had a mozzie mesh panel so that at night time, and that would be nice if that could be zipped from the or unzipped from the inside as well, so you can kind of zip it. But perhaps I'm asking a bit too much then, but it is a very expensive bit of kit for what it is, but it is a nice piece of kit. Like I say, I'll review it a bit more. I haven't put that in yet. I've just got the mozzie mesh in at the moment. It's meant to be about 8 kilos. I will give it away at some point if I can be bothered. This is quite nice. You roll that up, and there's some toggles there, and you can roll that up. I haven't got a tripod for this camera, otherwise I'd do that. Inside, very nice. You know, I mean, that is why I bought it, probably for the speed that you can set it up. If you're on like a day ticket lake and you might be there in a swim for a couple of days, but then you want to move, or you're just doing like maybe a weekender, the worst bit about any carp fishing to me is packing away at the end, especially if you haven't caught anything. So anything that can make it, anything can make this quicker. I like the vapor shield. It stops shy of the windows at the top, so I'm assuming that you don't get any condensation that is going to drip under there. I think I'm going to have, I mean, I live in Norfolk, and I think I'm going to get a lot of spiders living underneath that vapor shield. I'm going to have this out quite a bit in the winter time, because I'm doing a winter ticket this year. And yeah, that's really, I thought, getting to my age now, I really want something where I don't wake up under a brolly with either it being frozen or condensation. Yeah, the mozzie mesh windows are lovely. You do get quite a bit of privacy inside from the outside. If you're sitting there and you've got something light on, then you can see, say, your legs if you're wearing shorts, unless obviously you've got tan legs or whatever. That's not me, but it does give you that privacy at night. I tend to sleep generally with the brolly open, but there are times, like in France recently, where the mosquitoes were just an absolute nightmare. I'm very impressed with the zips that Nash has used on this. They do crash well, and that goes for all the sides as well. Very good, as you'd expect. I've never bought anything from the Nash camp that's not had good zips. Some of the newer bags I'm not so keen on, but the older bags, the older Nashy stuff, really good quality. Inside, in here, by the way, I've got the, just so you can sort of get an idea of the size, I've got the Tracker RLX Flat 6 bed chair, which is my go-to bed chair. It's got an inflatable mattress underneath at the moment, just for reference, but yeah, that's my favourite bed chair, to be fair, for the sort of overnighters that I do. I was under the stars last night, so I just had the aqua throw over the top, and that was bob on. Yeah, but that just gives you an idea. It's a standard bed chair. It's not a compact. It's not like a larger size one. I have got a Foxhole flatliner, but I don't know whether I'm even strong enough to lift it these days. I might stick it in here tomorrow and just give you an idea of what that looks like in here. But basically, it'll just be taller and a tad wider. This ground sheet, man, is absolutely crazy thick. It really is. I mean, that on its own might be half the weight of the brolly, I should think, and the 8 kilos is not including any of the accessories, because obviously you buy those separately. But it's a nice touch. I do like this. I've got the strap in. The strap is sitting underneath there at the moment. I haven't pegged out the ground sheet at all. I've just laid it in here just to see how it fits. Get some idea. I'm probably going to leave this up tonight. I'm going fishing tomorrow night on Sunday, down a little day ticket Lake Local, and I won't be taking this with me because, to be honest, I've got quite a few brollies as it is, and they're far better for like a quick overnighter. Like the pockets, there's one either side of the door here, guys. I really like those. I'm hoping they're going to be strong. I'm sure they will, because Nashy stuff is normally spot on, and the boys at Nash at the moment are developing some really good kit, so really like that. I bought a similar pocket from Aqua for the back of my Fast and Light brolly, and it was pants. It just slid down. You had to affix it to a couple of the ribs, and I found it was just rubbish, and as soon as you put anything in, it just slid down. But this, for where you're doing a weekend or whatever, receiver in there, porn mags in there, whatever you want to put in there, your carp books or whatever, you could put anything in there. I think that's a nice touch as well. And you've got one on either side. I mean, you could get 2 standard bed chairs in here, no problem, side by side, 2 like mine. I reckon if you push that a bit further back, there we go, I'll push it further back, so now that's literally touching. I do normally like to have stuff at the back of, because I'm a brolly user, I normally have my rucksack tucked at the back behind me, so it's out of the way, so when I'm going forward I'm not tripping over anything getting out for a take. In here you're obviously gonna, you can stick stuff underneath your bed, and you can stick it. There's loads of room down side here. I've not seen many good videos where they sort of show the amount of space down there. I might measure it later if I can be bothered. Probably can't be, to be honest. I just thought it'd be good for you guys to see what these are like. If you want to see anything, by the way, I'm going to have it up this weekend. If you want to see anything, any bits on this that is not too much of a hassle for me to do, then I don't mind just sort of like taking some measurements or whatever. Yeah, I mean, there is a lot of room between that point there and the edge of the bed. I reckon you've got about 1.20 m, something like that, and that to me is a lot of room, especially if you think you get the waterproof infill panel in here. This as well, this all comes back. I do like that. You can roll all of this back, so that can roll back. Now, I did try to roll this up with the mozzie mesh in it. I wasn't comfortable with how it fitted in the bag. I felt it was far better taking the mozzie mesh window out and then and then putting it in after you'd sort of set the brolly up. I'm sure with time I'll leave it in there, but yeah, I wasn't overly confident. The bag, yeah, there's some bits about the design of how it folds, and I think if they just did something with those front bits I talked about earlier, these bits here, whether you can make those so they just pivot on there. I mean, obviously that, you know, that might affect the structure, but the fact of it is it's curving up, and when it folds down it's curving up. And if you could just get that so it locks in position so it folds the other way, then they'd all fold and they'd all curve when they're folded. You wouldn't need such a big bag. It'd be a cost saving in itself, because you wouldn't need such a big bag to put all the stuff in. But I just think at some point these bits are going to rub on the inside of that bag, which is lovely and has got a breathable mesh on the inside, but that is going to rub it, and if you do a lot of fishing, that is going to rub through, and I think that'll be one of the first things to go. These things are nice. I thought it would have come with a storm pole, little storm pole bits. I'm not saying I'd ever use them, but you know, if you fish in the winter time like I do sometimes, and you know, you're around a lot of trees and a lot of branches coming down, although to be fair, now we call storms by a name. Every time there's a storm with a name given to it, then they shut the lakes down, so not such an issue. But with that and a storm pole, you kind of feel, yeah, you know, you got wind, you got rain. That's, you know, they call the old willows the widow maker when the branches start coming down, when they get a bit of water on them. Yeah, I think it's good. This thing here, you know, this rain guttery thing, yeah, I mean, I'm sure that works. I could just go and stick the garden hose on it. I can't be bothered at the moment. I might do that tomorrow. Just wanted to give you a sort of first look at this. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm thinking about taking it today and taking it back to Angling Direct, and maybe going for the standard one. Just because I was happy the way it goes up, not so happy the way it goes down, and anything that is going to annoy me like that for the amount these cost. But I'm going to try and live with it, because it's not for every day of the week. It is literally, it's got, you know, it's got a purpose. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. That's enough from me on this. I will put the waterproof panel in tomorrow and do a little video on that. But yeah, it's a great bit of kit, guys. I've seen the XL in France. Someone had it, the old type of XL. I was quite impressed with it, you know. I thought it was a good bit of kit. It's not as good as this because it hasn't got all the windows around it. I think, yeah, it did have the vapor shield. Yeah, and I was quite impressed when I saw it first time. I thought, oh, I like that. And I had my brolly over there at the time. Yeah, which, no problem doing a fox brolly for a week in France, no problem. But this thing with those windows, I think is pucker. All right then, guys. Cheers. Bye.